as if we didn't have enough to concern ourselves, Vladimir Putin is refusing to allow these on-the-ground inspections that are necessary to resume the New START nuclear treaty. That's an agreement between the U.S. and Russia about arms control overall, especially the nuclear part of it. This is what the Biden administration said a couple of days ago. This message was delivered to Congress and summarized in a statement by the State Department. The announcement from Russia follows months of what is referred to as more hopeful U.S. assessments that the two countries would be able to somehow salvage cooperation that was gutted by the orange vomit, the disgraced bastard Donald Trump. The agreement on limiting strategic nuclear weapons, even though the tension is so thick you could cut it with a butter knife over what the Christian terrorist Vladimir Putin has done in Ukraine. The inspections of U.S. and Russian military sites, mutual inspections under the New START treaty. START has to do with strategic nuclear weapons. And those inspections were paused by both sides because of the coronavirus spread in March of 2020. And the U.S.-Russia Committee overseeing reactivating or re-implementing that treaty met, the last time they met was in October of 2021. And Russia then unilaterally suspended its cooperation with the treaty's inspection provisions in August 2022. And that was to protest our support for the people of Ukraine. You know, Putin is like a lot of addicts, a lot of junkies, a lot of drunks who feel that they have a captive audience. You know, their family, their friends, whatever. And what the addict insists on is, don't you dare tell me what to do, and don't you dare leave, but you've got to put up with my insane behavior, which is what Putin was trying to tell Biden, or what he did tell Biden. You're just going to have to put up with my insane behavior. And if you criticize it, i.e. the invasion of Ukraine, then I'll show your ass. I'll just pull out of the START nuclear treaty. That's what happened. So today, the State Department issued a statement that said in part this, quote, Russia's refusal to facilitate inspection activities prevents the United States from exercising important rights under the treaty and threatens the viability of U.S.-Russian nuclear arms control, end quote. Last August, the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesman said that it had told the U.S. that it was temporarily suspending these inspections required under the treaty. And the Foreign Ministry spokesperson said U.S. sanctions imposed over Russia's invasion in February 2022 of Ukraine had changed conditions between the two countries. And the Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson also claimed that the United States was blocking Russians from carrying out their own inspections at U.S. sites, which is bullshit. That has not happened. And it probably will not happen as long as there's cooperation from the psychopathic Christian bum terrorist who runs Russia. But see, this is what I was trying to tell you. The Russians are saying, well, just because we decided to invade another country, like you did in Iraq, and start killing civilians like you did in Iraq, that's no reason for you to start providing these civilians and the military in Ukraine with military equipment. So since you are doing that, instead of just shutting the goddamn hell up and let us go ahead and kill hundreds of thousands of people, since you're not shutting up, Well, we'll just pull out of the treaty. This is what addicts do. The State Department today, denied that the U.S. was blocking inspections by the Russians. And we're not. I mean, if we were, our New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC would have discovered that and reported it forthwith. But the State Department also insisted that U.S.-Russia nuclear arms control efforts were essential to the security of the United States, the security of our allies, and the security, whether the Russians understand this or not, of them too. In other words, the whole damn world. State Department's statement from the spokesperson said, "It is all the more important during times of tension when guardrails and clarity matter most," end quote. That's another term that I have come to hate. Guardrails. That was what was talked about where it concerned the disgraced orange vomit Donald Trump, that the people who stayed in his administration, who later criticized the hell out of him of what a punk and an asshole he was, they said, well, I had to stay there because this guy needs guardrails. When I think of guardrails, what do I think of? I think about people in a hospital bed where they raise the rails so that the person doesn't roll out of bed because they're either comatose or on all sorts of IVs and stuff. Guardrails where it concerns adults who are making policy, or guardrails where it's necessary to stop the nuclear annihilation of the planet. Oh, my God. I need a sip of coffee. Hi, Truth Seekers. Mike Malloy here. The Progressive Voices Network brings you commercial-free commentary from today's leading progressive radio hosts and pundits, like me, Mike Malloy, 24 hours a day. I'm not your typical old guy from the 80s or the 90s talk radio host, and Progressive Voices is not your typical talk radio network. It's a listener-supported nonprofit with no corporate control whatsoever over our broadcast. So hosts like me, Mike Malloy, are free to rant and scream and carry on about whatever we like. We're often controversial, but we're never boring. Weeknights, 9 p.m. in the East, 6 p.m. in the West on the Progressive Voices Network. Always progressive, always on. I'm Mike Malloy. Keep it lit.